It's me, Vera, here to remind you that this is an adult podcast. That means we're going to deal with tough topics. Take a break if you need it, and be kind to yourself, because we sure won't be.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Stitch of Fate, a Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition podcast. As always, I am your storyteller, Mike Martin, joined by my four wonderful players, Josh, Bub, Mark, and Dot. Hello, and hello again.
Howdy, hello.
Mortals.
Welcome.
Hi, mortals. Hello, my kind. That's right. While I've got your gaze, go over to patreon.com/podbynight and support us directly. You get some cool benefits in doing so and help us reach the next goal of 4 more one-shots. And you get all the after shows that we do after every episode, as well as some other goodies like some sweet art, some Discord exclusive stuff. So go check it out. And if you can't, that's fine. You can always support us by bumping us up in the algorithm, by dropping a like or rating us 5 stars wherever you're listening or watching. All that stuff goes a long, long way to helping the show continue to grow.
Shit, he's got dominate, run.
Yeah, tell somebody. Just go tell somebody.
I've actually got terminal decree, but I don't know.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
man.
that old. I'm like a Methuselah level age.
Oh.
That's why I want to be storyteller, honestly, in Vampire, because then I can be the only Methuselah in the room.
Wow, madness.
That said,
Open it up to everybody today.
Listen, I have yet to be able to. We're working our way towards it. All right. With that said, let's quiet things down, set the scene, and see what our coterie is up to. The first thing we actually hear and see is the gentle purring of a familiar cat, one lacking fur and making up for with muscle definition and its absolute athletic build thanks to the blood it has imbibed from his owner, that the camera then picks up as the camera pulls away from the cat as it rubs against our dear friend Maxwell's arm. We find ourselves in Max's room, but things have changed slightly, haven't they, Max?
Yeah, there is now a rather sizable cat castle, if you will, with sort of strips of carpet on the side, lots of climbing spaces, little perches, and it takes up one side of the room. You notice that a lot of the sort of storage elements have been moved out of the room now. For the first time in forever, since Max has been living here, this room now looks like a place where someone lives, or unlives, as the case may be. Max is looking at some shotgun shells in a large box that's just been delivered to him. Looks like they were custom made. These are actually filled with silver shrapnel. Max, knowing that lupines are now at least present in his general vicinity, has decided that maybe having some more silver weaponry besides his silver dagger might be beneficial. So he's currently just sort of looking at them, making sure they're all intact. And he's got about 24 of these.
And as Max kind of begins to organize the shells and the camera pulls away, Max knows in the back of his mind that in about an hour, usually, is about the time the sheriff arrives for his weekly visit, as it is now time for Kadir to do his routine check-in on the prince. And as the camera pulls away from that broom closet and swirls through the halls and to find ourselves back down in the blood room, we actually can see somebody well prepared for this visit, as he always is, sitting behind his small desk, pen in hand, with papers stacked next to him and one in front of him. And we watch as Duke, with glasses on, tightly up to his face, leans forward and crosses a definitive dark line with a pen through another company's name on the finance papers he so deftly stole from the mafia's truck. The only thing left on this list is that charity company that seems to lead to nowhere. We can see it highlighted and circled twice with a few names written by its side. Duke Glenn, putting the pen down, sits back up, and his gaze moves over to an unopened and still elastic shut manila envelope that had actually arrived at the club just an hour prior. You wanted to finish up your work with this first before you gave attention to the police case that was promised to be delivered to you. Now, about 5 days later, it's finally here. we see as Duke kind of, like I said, gently puts the pen down, sits upright, and looks over to the manila envelope. But does he motion to open it now?
I think a minor reprieve from his current caseload will provide him some open mindset at another point. So yeah, I think he would probably take a look.
So he organizes his the finance papers and slides them off to the side before reaching over and dragging it over the manila envelope, quickly taking off the elastic band and seeing the year on it. Before I give the year strikes you immediately, Duke. It was at a point where you were at your highest activity. You kind of take this in, swallow it for a moment, and then just open the manila envelope. And the very first thing that greets you is a crime scene photo. It's not even the body you necessarily recognize, but the earth around it. You remember enjoying the walk out there to take care of it and dispose of it, and the nature that surrounded you and the pleasantness of the silence of it all. You spent a good time out there, but it's been decades.
It has been a while. I investigate further.
The more you look, the more you realize this is certainly one of your cases. Well, your cases in a different definition nowadays.
Interesting move, Luther. Wonder what you hope to ascertain from this.
Taking it in and letting those words fall from his lips, we see as Duke gently shuts it. There's no immediate thing that sticks out to you, as he may have promised, other than you recognize it as one of your own passion pieces. Shortly after, the clacking of heels disrupts your thoughts. Vera strides in, knowing full well Kadir is expected shortly. Max would make his way in as well. Cat on his shoulder or no?
Oh yes, Max Jr. is definitely on his shoulder and being fed little cat treats.
Of course, as Max Jr. enjoys his time on your shoulder, Sean arrives finally. Sean, as you arrive this night, you've been spending the past few nights away from the club. Well, this club anyway. As you found yourself in the club that you were in just a few nights ago, where that special drink that was taken by Max occurred. Perhaps hoping to catch eye on Triplets or Larson again, or perhaps even the mystical Meer that Max supposedly saw. But when you arrive at the club on these nights, it is a stark contrast to what it was on the night you were there. People were lining the block waiting to get in, but on these nights, there's not even a line outside. You can walk up to the door and walk in without anybody trying to stop you. The floor itself is a quarter as full as it was when you were there. And the bartenders are completely different this time around. It seems to be a barely in business club, struggling to make ends meet. Its music and its decoration is even minimalized on these nights. And that's what's on Sean's mind as he steps into the door, knowing Kadir is going to arrive. But the Coterie has a few moments together, if there's any conversation they'd like to have, but if not, we can move right to Kadir.
Hey, does anyone know someone that is like super horny, violent, excited? Like, there's this taste that I really want. You know? I'm trying out a new thing.
What, are you talking to kind?
Yeah. Normal people.
Yeah, horny, excited, and what was the other one?
Mostly like violent and angry.
Sean,
Like,
we live in a club.
yeah. I guess it's not quite right. I'm like, not people that want to fuck, but people that are like super passionate.
Once Kadir is out of here, and I have assured that our 3 little boys are handled, I'll give you the name of a place.
Sweet. These people want to like feeling violent. It's just I need,
Trust me, they are passionate.
you know, people that want to put hands on things.
I promise you this will
Grabby
fit
hands.
all of those descriptions and more.
Oh, damn. Okay.
And moving on to less awkward subjects of conversation, I got them shells, Vera. Thanks for that.
Oh, good. It would be nice for us to be able to give some to the men at the door at least, but as long as you have some, it's a start.
Well, we'll save that for any of our furry friends that decide to show their snouts.
Let us hope that we never have to use them.
Oh, yeah, I hope that. Believe me, I hope that.
Duke doesn't say anything.
Duke just sits and takes in all of the conversation. Eventually, as the silence falls, the back door, well, rather the door leading upstairs would open, and the hurried but steady steps of a familiar sheriff make their way down. Quickly turning into the room with his long, dark hair, sword sheathed over his shoulder. He walks in and eyes each one of you very quickly, like before, without saying a word, walks by each one of you, and directly to Prince Panhard. Again, with the fingers under the cheek, he turns her head left and right, examines her wounds, and checks once more to see if she still is truly in torpor, before turning to the rest of you. Everything seems to be in order.
Howdy, Sheriff.
He nods. Have you taken care of the problem that I laid before you?
Like to know about this problem and how big it is.
Thin bloods are a problem with the Masquerade, especially on ones not properly within the cameral laws. They need to be removed.
Yeah, here's the thing, Sheriff. There's another thin blood involved in this whole mess that complicates the situation somewhat.
Some information was wrong?
Well, you probably remember our friend Larson, right?
Wits insight. Everybody.
That'll just be a wits.
All right. Duke 1. Sean, is it a crit?
No.
2?
No.
2.
Here I got 2.
All right. So he does not. His expression does not seem to change. And he's like, yes, I remember our problematic friend. Are you saying he's there?
Yeah, he's involved in this up to his eyeballs.
He also has another friend with him.
I imagine. They seem to be two peas in a pod.
Well, it seems that they are making their pod bigger.
Yeah, with this.
As Max pulls out the water bottle from his jacket, Duke takes, not Duke, my apologies, Kadir takes a few steps forward and just plucks it from your hand and brings it up to his gaze. And this is what?
We don't know, but it's something they're handing out for a very hefty price at this club. I had a suspicion there might be kindred blood in there, maybe even Gustav's, who knows. But it does seem to, it puts those that drink it into some kind of weird state where they babble for a while and I don't know. Look, you got somebody who can take a look at this, tell us what's inside?
He chews on his lip for just a brief moment, and he nods. I can take it to the chantry. That'd be my best guess.
It seems that they are on a bit of a schedule. Sean, how has the rest of the week at the club been?
It's like a completely different place. It is wild how boring that place is now. Thursdays are where it's at.
Sid would explain the rumors cropping up so quickly.
Yeah, it's nothing like our club, Vera.
As much as I appreciate your flattery, what they don't know is tonight is ladies' night. And I'm showing up to get a drink. We'll handle whatever thin bloods we can.
Now, here's the question, Sheriff. You gonna be upset if Larson meets a nasty end?
There is genuine thought as the room falls silent for the first time ever since Kadir visits. 30 seconds or so pass before he looks up. He's still a member of the Primogen Council. I do not have that justification or jurisdiction to call for his death.
An attempt on the prince's life is totally justified then.
He nods. But we've kept that rather secret, haven't we?
So what you're telling me is, if I had a chance to be alone in a room with Larson, I shouldn't squash his head like a melon? Because that happened. Because that did happen. And
With as sensitive as this is, Kadir, I think it would be best if you were similarly involved. We're moving into a situation where there are potentially multiple kindred, an audience of kine, and multiple thin bloods. It's not out of our wheelhouse of power, but just so that you can see and become involved yourself, potentially exact some vengeance for our immediately removed prince.
If he comes to find his final night, ensure it wasn't the four of you who did it.
oh yeah, it was some other guy that did it. It was some other guy.
There's no room for error. A home run or nothing.
Thank you, Kadir.
He looks to you, Vera, and his gaze lasts with you for a little longer than obviously with the rest. There's a history between the two of you before he nods. I still trust the four of you to handle the issue. Should you need, rather, he says, if you have doubts, lay them before me now so I can take care of it first and not risk failure.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Mia.
She should be dead.
Wonderful. Then we'll assure one of the two meet their proper end. And would it be beneficial to say have Larson brought in for proper counsel?
He actually just nods to that.
Wonderful. Then it sounds like we need to catch ourselves a Larson.
Primary concern is the three thin bloods first. Their immediate masquerade risk. Dispose of them. The others come secondary. I'm sure they'll crop up again if we don't get them now.
Okay, good to know the lay of the land.
Max cracks his neck.
On that, Kadir just starts to walk forward and leave without a word.
Until next week, Kadir.
With that, no response. You simply hear his footsteps make their way up the stairs, the door open as the music floods down for just a moment before it shuts again.
I do not like this.
I don't either.
Nah, this smells like a setup to me, but...
I do not like how quickly he is to remove his hands from being dirtied.
He also asked us to remove our hands from being dirty, if I remember correctly. He did not ask us to kill Larson. He asked us to assure that we weren't the ones that killed Larson.
Yeah, if he does meet his final night, so to speak.
But I believe that if we can bring Larson in, it will look a lot better on us than claiming his death.
All right. But don't expect him to have his arms and legs attached, that's all I'm saying.
Oh, it's okay. He doesn't need his limbs anymore. I'm going to go change clothes. Sean, would you like to be my date for the club?
Yeah, you need me to dress up as well?
I need you to be the best little thin blood that you can be, so do whatever you like.
You got it. He stays where he is.
I turn around to the two of them. Would you like to join us?
Yeah, I'll be there, of course. Don't expect me to dress up, though, not that it wouldn't matter to anybody. But here's the thing, Vera. If we've managed to convince Larson that there's a chance of turning Sean, don't you think you showing up with him is gonna tip our hand?
Is that the play?
That's what I'm asking.
Sean, do you think he'll believe it?
He seemed pretty impressed that I was all, oh, what is your magic new religion? Like he was going proper culty with it. So maybe he can turn me, in air quotes.
I'm not worried about Larson or Mia. Clearly they're not concerned about us, or they wouldn't be out in public running a club and turning thin blood that the sheriff had found out about. Last time I checked, it was a public space. Sean, if you don't want to be on my arm, I understand. But I'm going in to collect myself 3 thin bloods. And if nothing else, my presence may scare the pants off of them. And when they run into a back alleyway screaming for their lives, you can do that wonderful thing you do, Max.
Okay, so, you want me to stick with you, Vera?
I'm interested to see how this plays out. Larson didn't seem upset, right, Sean, that you've come snooping about?
Nah, he was surprised, but he wasn't too he wasn't too bothered.
I don't think Duke's eyes have left Sean this entire time.
Then you would have seen a variety of emotions play across his face.
I can imagine. Sean,
Yeah?
would you care to offer an alternative?
We tell the Thin Bloods that they're being bullshitted. We find Meer and actually get to talk to her for once. Murder Larson and burn the place down.
And what do you propose that we do to the Thin Bloods then?
Take him under our wing?
Yeah. See, that's kind of contravening the one order we were actually given.
Actually, multiple orders we were given. Not to kill Larson. To kill the Thin Bloods.
I was asked what I wanted to happen. I'm telling you.
Sean.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna go get ready.
Sean, do you understand the basic rule of the embrace of siring? The basics, first and foremost, is permission. If you're not granted permission by a governing force such as the Prince or the Primogen Council, and you take the law into your own hands, well, you're a dead man walking. Your head will be removed, as will your childer. Mia and Larson are playing a very, very dangerous game, far more than just simply attempting to take out the prince. They're opening the sight to Kine and offering our world to them. The Masquerade supersedes the prince, the princedom.
All I'm saying is that Larson never got permission to do what he did to me. But he also didn't take responsibility either. You lot did that, so I'm grateful. But we could do the same for these other people.
Yeah, except they seem like real douchebags.
Yeah, they are fucking creepy.
To be totally honest, Sean at the time and various times has been a douchebag himself.
I don't know if he actually crosses over into douchebag territory, you know. He's kind of, I don't think you're a douchebag. I think they're douchebags.
No, I think you're coming around. What I'm getting at is it takes time. It's taken effort and tutelage, and we lack these things in our current state of affairs.
No, what I'm saying is Sean ain't a douchebag. He's more of a, what do you call it, a nincompoop.
Oh,
I kind of like that word.
I don't. May I ask a question?
Yeah.
What makes these three douchebags?
They kind of float around like they touched me in a really weird way. It was like over-familiar.
Oh,
like
did
I'm
they,
not a fan of that. But you know, most of the time that's fine. But like, didn't give me his name. Just kind of swanned up and was like, "What's up with your scar?" He was like, "Oh, look at my tattoos." It's just bragging.
Interesting. Thank you.
I mean, you're gonna know it when you see it, Vera. It's, take it from me, it's big D-bag energy.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I love big D-bag energy. It tastes good.
I bet you do.
I don't.
Well, Duke, maybe we can find something you do like.
I favor arrangements and patterns.
Well, I could align them in a row.
No, thank you. Though I believe if you did line them up in a row, it might be easier for Maxwell to place his hand from the front of their face to the back of the rear face.
Oh, we can't do that yet. He's going to get that chance. First, we have to, question them.
Forgive my aloofness with the situation, Sean. You need to separate your emotions from this. Yes, you are a thin blood, and yes, they are. Your circumstances are different. If it were one, it would be a different situation.
I'll do my best.
Okay, good talk, everybody. Good talk.
Yeah.
Max kind of just like breaking up the awkwardness leaves the room.
I just wait at the door, Duke.
Duke is probably behind the desk where the prince is at.
Duke, would you like to talk about it?
I've never understood or fathomed why individuals cannot speak of their own personal feelings on the situation. We've thrived and survived this long for doing things our way. But I suppose if we ever wish to continue to grow, or to continue thriving, we have to set aside our personal feelings on the matter.
I guess maybe that's true, but what difference does it make if you don't have something personal in it? Stakes?
You have to define that as you go. You do not wake up every day with a new dream. I simply discover what challenges are before me, and I find the ways to topple them.
What challenge is it that weighs on your mind?
I think it's bizarre that this me and Larson are erecting a family around them consistently. They're attempting to do so with these triplets as far as I can tell. When that place was Sean's.
Was Sean's.
Agreed. Was Sean's.
Well, they can take their happy little family elsewhere. They've caused me enough problems, and for whatever reason, we were disposable to them in their grand scheme. So for all I care, I will take everything from them, one at a time. And Larson shall be glad it's his triplets and not his actual child.
Are you going to kill the Thin Bloods?
I'm going to question them. Depending on their answers. No, I'm going to kill them. Yes.
I know that recently you had told me that that's a part of your life that you left behind.
Was. It's been many years.
You know, I rarely
Necessity.
question you. I trust you. I trust that you know what you're doing. If it means leaving behind an anchor, a weight on your own personal being, then just continue allowing it to Maxwell and myself. But if you discover something new about yourself, or if you find solace in returning to roots, spread your wings.
We shall see. As I said, it depends on their answers. I used to not let them talk at all. I consider that growth,
Yes, I think so.
And like I said, if Max can be the one to put a hole through their head or whatever.
I can't help but wonder what is going through her mind.
Whose mind?
He points down.
The prince lies there, blankly staring at the ceiling.
I don't know.
I tried to warn her, Vera. She chose not to act upon it.
I think we all did. But I don't imagine reminiscing over her mangled body is doing any of us any good.
I'm simply saying this out loud so that she can hear me.
You know, at one time I didn't serve the Camarilla at all. Long ago. Those mistakes we make as young kindred.
Mac was around for the Battle of New York, wasn't he?
That would have been the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You know then for a long time, because you were part of the New York, that New York was a Sabbat-run city until 99. They had a Sabbat prince. It was, for those who lived in New York, the Sabbat who were running New York were very for a sect that claims independence from following rules and wanting to be free. They have a rather strict hierarchy.
I chose to come back to the Camarilla. Those choices inevitably assured that they hated me in return. But that being said, I chose to serve the Camarilla. And therefore, every prince, including you. And I actually look at her mangled body.
At this point, her body is almost entirely healed.
So it's just kind of laying there?
Yeah, she's just been in torpor, which is another thing that I think a couple episodes ago was like a weird thing, because she was almost completely healed, and yet she was still out.
Well, when our prince returns to us, I imagine she'll have a fair many things to say, not just to us.
One can hope. For now, I'll continue to focus on my difficult challenges laid before me.
Well, not all challenges have to be dealt with alone, Duke. That's the point of a coterie.
Sweet, Vera. Maybe together we can walk that threshold into my office another time.
Possibly. But I wouldn't call it sweet. I have to get dressed. I have a dance floor to own.
And Vera strides off with grace. What, as the coterie would come together, what exactly did Vera change into?
Just something that looks a smidge more club-ish, less like her club and more like general club. But Vera has a bit of fame that goes along with her club life. She has dots in fame for kind of underground club life, so she's going to probably lean into that pretty heavily. So she still needs to make a statement, but she doesn't have to wear like black vinyl.
I'm going to murder people clothes or
not. No. I mean, she is going to murder people, but she'll have some time to change before that happens. It's fine.
I just didn't know if that's what we were going in with the murder clothes.
No. She's definitely going in to literally own this club. Like, she's going in to like take over the dance floor, make it her space, and draw attention.
Max, how is he dressed, knowing that he's going to be invisible most of the time?
Max is definitely wearing murder people clothes, his standard outfit. So he's got his trench coat and whatnot, the hoodie with the very large hood. Even though he's going to be obfuscated, he always, when going out in public, pulls up the hood. He's got a scarf pulled up, so really only his eyes are showing, though even those are clearly inhuman eyes. So he might even put sunglasses on over top of those.
Straight up Hollow Man style.
Yeah. He is bringing with, just in case, he's bringing a few of those silver-filled shotgun shells with him.
Give me a number. You have 24 of them. How many do you want to bring?
He's going to bring 6 of them with him, and he's also got his 6 Dragon Breath shells. He's actually, he's going to, again, not knowing quite what he's going to face, he's going to load one of the barrels of the sawed-off shotgun with a silver shot and one with a Dragon Breath shell. Though he's planning on mostly using his hands for tonight's festivities.
Then that leaves Sean. Sean, I imagine you've got your kind of good club attire that you usually wear, but I don't know if you want to do anything different since your scar was kind of fingered out last time.
Yeah, he's a little bit more well put together. Okay. He has the same tatty, no sleeves shirt, still showing the ankh on his chest, but he's also wearing a bomber jacket, like a pretty nice bomber jacket that he's probably bought for himself with this new cash that he's got.
Excellent.
Meanwhile, he's doing blood
Alchemy. Yeah, you've been messing around with some blood alchemy in the back end. And which leaves us with Duke. Duke, are you going to be looking like Duke the whole time?
The whole time, top to bottom.
Yep, I figured you'd look exactly the same, clean white shirt. I just didn't know. Fantastic.
Maybe a handkerchief in the pocket,
Oh.
right? At best.
Wow,
Ooh,
extra
oh, yeah.
fancy.
A pop.
Extra.
But it's also just a plain white handkerchief.
Nothing more about
Exactly.
All about
all it
patterns.
is. Excellent. How do we want to go to the club?
Oh, John would drive us. He's the chauffeur,
Okay,
right?
you're gonna have John drive.
Yes,
Perfect.
yes. We're
Go.
gonna show up in. Yes.
What vehicle does he drive you in?
I imagine Vera owns I don't know that it's a proper limo, but it's it's. Wait.
A bigger.
It's bigger, maybe like an Escalade of some kind, black, right? Real nice, clean, or if not, then it's going to be some kind of nice Mercedes type car that like all four of us could definitely get in.
Windows tinted,
Mhm.
past the legal limit of tinting,
For
and it doesn't
sure.
matter because anytime a cop pulls you over, it's easy to just tell them to go away. Well, you drive up in style, and you can actually see Vera and Duke as the car ride ensues, and you make your way down to Staten Island and across the bridges and the like, or ferry or whatever it is that gets you over to Staten Island. When you're about a couple blocks out, you can actually see the club from here. There's an enormous amount of people outside, winding their way actually around the block, the sign Omnia being clearly lit. And there is bouncers on the outside, keeping people out. And it is just packed here. Again, for Sean, an utter contrast to how the rest of the week for this club seems to go. And as John drives you and rolls you to the very front of the club and making kind of an entrance as you pull in front and even cut off another car and stop traffic completely behind you. John actually gets out of his car and goes to open the car that would lead to Vera's side first, sliding it open for Vera to step out. Now, the entire line out the club's heads have already turned. People are honking their horns for you even holding up traffic. You've drawn attention one way or another. As Vera steps out, I imagine Sean is follow suit. Can I get a rouse check from Max so we can get because you're going to be invisible and all that good stuff?
I will be moving invisibly.
Okay, you get a little hungrier. What are you at for hunger?
Now it takes me up to 2.
Okay, so you're still pretty okay, though. You can feel the urge begin to just gnaw at you just gently on the inside. And then Duke, finally, stepping out of the car. As the Duke steps out, John swings around the back side of the car and gently shuts the door and looks to the three of you and says, "I hope you have a good evening." And he makes his way and shuffles his way to the front
Vera
of the
goes,
driver's side.
We'll see you out back, John.
He gives you a gentle nod as he ducks his own head into the car, closes the door, and it rolls off with there's a final meep meep from the guy behind him. He sticks his head out the window. "Come on, you fucking assholes!" And people begin to finally drive off, and traffic finally begins to pick back up. The line of people is staring at you. Even one particular person has a cell phone out recording the whole thing.
I have awe on.
Okay, awe turns on, and it is no question as to why. Now, the other three are going to have to make a resist roll to your
Sorry,
awe, correct?
Yeah,
'Cause you can't-
sorry.
they cannot resist your awe.
It's
What do they need
manipulation,
to roll?
presence versus composure, intelligence in this case.
Composure, intelligence, please, you three.
And mine will be manipulation, presence. Sorry, y'all.
This is the first time I think we've seen this have to happen.
Oh,
Duke
hey!
rolls 4 successes. Sean rolls 3 successes. Max rolls 2 successes. Before Vera rolls, would anybody like to add willpower?
I can't.
Can't? Okay.
No, I'm
Okay.
good.
Shouldn't.
Good. All right. Let's see Vera's roll.
It's actually not as high as we think because it's her presence score, which isn't that high. So only a 1.
Ooh, that's unfortunate.
That is an
really
unfortunate roll. Because it's manipulation, presence, right? Hang on.
Yep. That was what.
Yeah, so manipulation's
so.
4, presence 1, so 5 die. That's correct. Yeah.
Oh, wait. 4 and then 1. So you rolled 6 die. Not that it matters, but for some reason you rolled 6 die. 1 hunger die, 5 regular die.
Maybe.
Not that it doesn't matter. We'll just go with the roll.
Oh, it's because I have. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't know why that is.
Yeah, all good.
Weird.
Doesn't matter because the mortals don't get a resistance roll. While the entire crowd looks to you initially for causing a ruckus, as Vera steps out of the car, the three of you can actually feel a desire, a pull. There's always been Vera always commands presence, her presence wherever she stands. But in this moment, even as she steps out, maybe it's because she's in her element, maybe it's because she's trying to draw the attention of others. But there is this feeling of wanting to look, but you're all able to succeed to varying degrees in resisting, and you don't have to. There's no supernatural need to look at her. It's merely she is commanding the gaze of all before her just by being present in front.
That makes sense too. She wouldn't want her. She doesn't care about the Coterie looking at her. That's
right.
Not
yeah,
important.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine it's not a big deal that they all pass
No.
anyway. But very, very, very rarely does Vera ever even use awe. To command the crowd like that is something she only does when absolutely necessary. And to see this happen, to watch all the mortals snap from looking at you to all then looking at her, what do we watch Vera do next?
So this guy's honking the horn.
He was until John B finally began to roll away, and then he's like, "Yeah, you fucking asshole."
Okay, great.
And just
I was about to say, if we were in front of his car, I was going to stand there for a second, but don't worry about it. She strolls right up to the bouncer, like, be damned the line.
Sure.
Right? She
And
goes
the
right
bouncer
to
standing in front has a really thick black beard that kind of comes down from his chin about 2 inches or so, and he has a faux hawk. A little out of style for the time, but that's what he's got. And he kind of, maybe you'd probably place him like early 20s at most. And as he looks up to you, and he's got a touchpad on his hand, he's like, "And name?"
No name.
Oh, the line's there.
I'm aware.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the show as he stares at himself and
She
then
goes,
looks
"Oh,
to the
that's
next person.
cute. Would you mind moving out of the way for me and my party? Please." And she smiles.
So you want to...
I'm going to try to persuade him.
I was going to say manipulation, persuasion, but plus awe. So that
she also is going to
presence
go,
it.
"You do know who I am, right?"
Then make your roll. Manipulation, persuasion, plus presence is what awe gives you?
Plus presence, which will be 1 more die. But she's also got stunning, which is 2 additional die if you'll allow it. And she would have 1 die for her fame.
Yep. Then all of that goes into the pool for this particular situation, as Omnia is an underground club.
Manipulation, persuasion, plus 4. 8.
8. Good God.
Out of a pool of 11.
And when you say, "Don't you know who I am?" Do you have a moniker you would go by that people would know you as?
Oh yeah, I think she still goes by the Black Swan, right? If the Black Swan comes to your club, well then.
And beyond just your face, do you have like an identifier that kind of indicates you as a black? Is like a piece of clothing that's just like.
No, she goes, "Oh, you don't know who I am. That means you've never seen a performance. I'm so sorry."
He takes, again, with 8, he takes a moment. He looks and like, "Don't you know who I am?" And he's like, "I mean, I'll be real with you. You look familiar, but I don't. Is it a select? Listen, I don't want to get in trouble." And he just kind of steps away. He kind of steps to the side, like, you can go.
She kind of puts a gentle hand and like runs her nails in his cheeks.
You can feel goosebumps crawl up his skin.
Great.
as immediately as you do that.
Come see me tonight, would you? Thank you.
The stupidest grin crawls across his face, just like the dumbest smile.
She boops
and
his
you
nose.
walk through.
Yeah, like, boop.
He goes to step in the way of Sean and Duke, however.
She stops. "I said my party."
Yeah, again, looking back and then realizing, and he, again, 8 successes, just steps out of the way. He's like, "My apologies."
Cheers, buddy.
He looks to you, and he doesn't look familiar to you. He looks like he might recognize you, Sean, but it doesn't. You're not there long enough for him to even say anything or make sure. And Duke, when you walk by, that stupid grin and all that stuff goes away, and he just kind of watches you with his eyes as you walk by him.
Duke just looks like the biggest narc of all time.
More than that, Duke has obvious predator.
Oh yeah. So
right.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. That is the reason people do not like being around Duke at all.
Mm-hmm.
But he kind of steps out of the way, and even the front of the line silences a little bit as you walk by. But eventually you walk into the club, and music overwhelms you. You can see as now you walk in, Max and Sean, it's a familiar sight. The dance floor is packed once more. People are dancing and having a good conversation and having drinks. And you can actually see a few of the people within the crowd having those very definitive glasses that had that very particular drink in them. You are here a little later than you were the last time around. And Sean, as you look to the bar, you can see the same bartender behind there serving the drinks. She's laughing it up with one of the guests.
Max leans into Vera and just quietly says, "Okay, that's the door that Stinky went in through. That's where she dropped something off." Pointing out all the areas. This is where the VIP room was. All these things.
Oh hi, it's me, Vera. While you're taking a break, take a moment to visit dieharddice.com. Die Hard Dice is a sponsor of this little podcast. They make what we do possible. During checkout, make sure to use the code STITCH-MAR and you'll get 10% off your entire purchase. And we get a little cut for our own resources. Sounds like we only roll with the best.
Do we see the twins?
Can I get a wits awareness from everybody?
No, not Vera. She's jonesing to hit that dance floor.
Yeah, she's too distracted
the music's
right now.
like already thumping.
Sean, I mean, it happens. Max rolls a critical, so he rolls a total of 6 successes, and then Duke rolls 2 successes. Max is the only one. You don't see all the triplets. You see one of the triplets, Max. He's in the crowd on the dance floor, having a conversation with, it seems like 2 ladies and a man, and the man has the drink in his hand.
Oh, douchebag number 1 at 3 o'clock.
Oh, yes. There are 3 of them, you say?
3.
Well, time to at least get one's attention.
So what do we see the Coterie do then? You all kind of make your way in, the initial scan before Max whispers to Vera. At this point, do we see the Coterie kind of separate? What do we see the Coterie do in the club?
Sean's going to lean over to Vera before he separates off and just say, if you want their attention, all you need is a drink.
She says, well, what are you waiting on? Go get me a drink.
Oh, yes, my queen. And he trundles off.
Okay, we see Sean head off to the bar. What about Duke?
I think Duke would probably grab. Is there like a table, like a tall table at all somewhere nearby?
Oh yeah, there's a few tall tables around. Absolutely.
I'm looking.
They all have people at them.
To stay by the door, even if that means that I move to that table, and
okay.
I
you move
just
to the
wait.
nearest. Yeah, you move to the nearest tall table where there's a couple of people, a couple just having conversation with each other with their drinks on the table. One of the men is leaning his arm up against the table, and as soon as you kind of make your way over and you just kind of stand there, maybe even sit in a chair nearby, it's within seconds. The conversation, they kind of look at you a couple times, and they kind of very obviously kind of scoop their drinks up, quiet up, and they move away. And you see them move to just a separate table, maybe like 10 feet, 15 feet away from you. And we see Duke post up and watch and keep eyes. Max, do you stick near Sean or Vera?
I'm going to stick near Vera.
Okay. And so as Vera makes her way to the dance floor, presumably.
Yeah, I imagine people part, like she just
of course, as you get close, there's people trying to give you drinks, to dance with you, men and women alike, both trying to get your attention as you just, ignore them almost completely before you just kind of make your way to the center of the dance floor.
And you said he's on the dance floor?
Yeah, he's on the dance floor dancing.
Yes, I want to catch his attention. The goal is his attention, and then I'll ask him to dance. But I want.
So would you like to dance then?
Vera will dance. Not anything necessarily.
Dexterity performance.
Okay, and I've got a specialty in dance. Surprise.
Mm-hmm. And since you have awe, I will allow your presence score to be added to this because you're directly attempting to grab people's.
She's club famous.
And she is club famous, so you get your extra specialty there as well. This is you in
another
your
6.
Absolute element. You rolled 6. You could re-roll 3 if you wanted on top of that.
I mean, I got the willpower to spend. Vera doesn't use her powers very often.
So re-roll 3 on top of it. Let's see what you roll. Let's see how many successes we can pile on this.
One more,
you had one
so
more
7.
Success. 7 successes. That's a near impossible task, basically, on the difficulty scale of things by the core rulebook. And as we watch Vera stride in, the minute your first foot hits the dance floor, your steps are immediately within rhythm to the music. People move out of the way, again, trying to offer you drinks, but it soon realizes as you begin to move and sway with the music, the drinks stop being offered, and instead eyes are watching. Some try to join you. But I imagine when Vera dances, it's very much a me thing. Is that correct?
Yeah, if anybody tries, she pushes them up. It's part of that performance, right? Like,
It's
the more they want
two
her.
people try.
Yeah.
2 people give it a chance, and you make a show of it. You don't really make a show of pushing away the first one, but the second one, because they didn't get the hint the first time, you push away. And after you do so, even those who are kind of a distant around you, everybody then pushes back a good 6 inches or so, giving you space.
And then I make eye contact with the twin.
So you scan around looking for him, and as you look around, everybody clearly paying attention to you. He actually gets a resistance roll because he is a thin blood.
Okay.
So,
I
what is his resistance roll against your awe again?
It is oh, I always forget. Hang on. Okay, here we go. And to composure intelligence against
composure intelligence.
her
is
manipulation
not the biggest
presence.
pool, unfortunately for him. And what was it?
Against her manipulation presence.
Okay, you may make a manipulation presence roll while I make my roll. God, that was awful. His die pool is a 4 for this, by the way. So you need to roll really poorly for me.
Okay, well, I rolled a 2. That's pretty poor. Well,
That
for
is
Vera.
pretty poor, but would you like to use a willpower and reroll 2?
Yeah, sure. This is important. This is hella important. What you know.
Had 2 more successes on top of it, which puts you to 4, and which immediately is able to beat whatever he rolled there.
Okay.
Because his attention is completely drawn to you, especially with that performance roll.
She gives him this, like, come here finger.
And as you kind of gesture toward him, a few of the people around him are like, me? And they're kind of pointing to themselves all eager, and one even tries to push through. But as it becomes clear, you like make it clear who, he gets a kind of sly smile as he whispers something into the gentleman's ear who has the drink before making his way through the crowd. And people are making their way out of the way for him, but he's getting a lot of dirty looks.
As he gets closer, Vera rouses, so he doesn't know she's a kindred.
Oh, okay. You're gonna blush of life.
There we go. Success. So yeah,
With
she'll
a
blush of
successful
life.
roll on rounds, you are no longer seemingly undead, and you do not gain any hunger. And he begins to parse through the crowd. We'll cut the camera there, and we make our way to the bar. Sean's kind of making his way through. A few people kind of empty out a few seats, and quickly you saddle up. Before long, the young lady catches your eyes, and there's a double take. She sees you and looks away, then looks back, and gives you a smile, though very obviously delayed. And after she finishes her conversation, she makes her way over. She's like, "Hey, good to see you. I didn't think I'd be seeing you again."
No, I bet you didn't. But
She gives you a slightly concerned look.
Friends in high places.
Sure.
And I'm very fond of you, so how about I try that drink again?
She takes kind of a deep breath, and her eyebrows and eyes widen. Do you have that kind of money?
Maybe just this once more.
Does he take out cash?
Yeah.
As you pull out the cash, she seems to hesitate for a moment. And then she looks back. How'd you like it the first time?
It was weird. But I enjoyed the trip.
Yeah. You know, funny, as she reaches forward and takes the cash. And did you give her 400 or did you give her 5 again?
Gave her 5 again.
Okay, she begins to count it out, and she counts out the extra 5, and she just slides you back one of the hundreds as she puts the 400 away. You are the very first one to ever come back for a second.
Yeah. I'm into experimenting, and this is a good place to do that. So, what's your name?
She kind of stands up. I'm out of some of the stuff for the drink. I'll be back. Don't go anywhere. And she begins to leave the bar.
Shit.
What does Sean do?
Which way does she go? She go towards the...
Well, she's going towards the back of the bar. It's kind of, again, to re-describe, it's one of those big loopy bars that have like many taps on the inside. So she's going towards the back where presumably the kitchen might be.
He's actually he's actually gonna like yell, hey, hang on a sec. Tell them it's Sean.
As she clearly not actually trying to stop her. She does kind of look back when you shout, hey, but as you say that, she just keeps walking forward and she disappears through a back door to the kitchen. Who is Duke watching during this?
Duke's watching Sean.
So you see a conversation happen and then you just see her leave the bar. You do see Sean get her attention and he shouts something. It's so hard to hear over the music and all the words. You're welcome to make a wits awareness. If you roll extremely well, you will be able to hear. Because you don't have heightened senses, right?
Negative, I do not.
Okay.
But my pools are not terrible, so let's find out.
This is a high roll. Is that a crit?
It's 4 successes.
Would you like to re-roll 2? No?
No, thank you.
Okay. 4 is not enough to understand what he was saying. You hear his voice, he shouted something, but that's it. So you see that kind of interaction unfold.
From where I'm sitting, can I see where she's gone?
She went behind the bar toward the back. Very similar, you imagine, probably towards where a kitchen would be. She does not go to the door where Stinky went through, and she does not go to the door that led up the stairs either. She literally goes in the door that would have to lead to the kitchen.
Okay. And I have no idea where I might find Max.
No, he's invisible.
Okay.
Unless it was discussed previously that Max was going to stick by a particular one of the Coterie. Is that something that the Coterie would have discussed?
Actually, I think Max did mention that he was going to stick near Vera.
Okay.
Did he? And a standard operating procedure, yeah.
So that you would know she's probably somewhere near or on the dance floor.
Okay, then I'll probably move over to the dance floor and wait until I have her in my vision, and then sort of give her, like, I don't know, some sort of indicator, like potentially like tapping the wrist for time or something like that that might draw her attention. Or if Max is close, because that's his MO, maybe he can move over.
Do I notice Duke doing this?
You make me, yeah, unless Duke's trying to be stealthy about it. Duke kind of stands out. He's good taller than everybody in the room. He stands above almost all of them, and he's not exactly dressed like everybody else. So yes, Max, you would see.
Okay, Duke, what's the rumpus?
I'll kind of lean into the table so that my mouth is no longer visibly to anybody else. And I'll say just loud enough so that he can hear it. The bartender seems to have recognized Sean, and she has taken an empty glass, as far as I can tell, to my best guess is a kitchen outside of my field of view.
What, back behind the bar?
Yes.
All right, I'll go check it out. You keep an eye on Vera.
Will do.
Duke, do you stand in the crowd, or do you go back to your place where you were watching?
I'll stay right at the edge of the dance floor, and I'll kind of like hold an empty glass and sort of do one of these side-to-side head shuffles like I'm trying to enjoy the music, but it just seems almost robotic in nature.
Yeah.
The camera... Oh, go ahead, please.
As Duke does this, he just sort of hears coming from empty air, oh boy.
And Vera and Duke, you watch as after you arrive and finish speaking with Max and you look up, coming through the crowd is a particular individual, one of the triplets. He stands near Vera and begins to dance with her. And Vera, as you kind of, you're moving around in a circle, eventually your eyes will catch Duke on the outskirts, just barely lit by the lights on the dance floor, back and forth with his head. But the rest of his body and torso do not move. It is only his head.
Well, at least he's having a good time.
And she, as you kind of like think to yourself, I imagine, as it continues. But
I look at, because I'm close enough now on the dance floor. Like, I want to be real close. Like, because Vera's got blood pumping, she's sweating, her heart's beating, like all of the above. And she'll kind of lean in and go, "What is your name?"
He says very eagerly and quickly, "Corey." Yours?
Corey. I'm Vera.
I need to make a roll. He doesn't seem to register with him at all. And he's like, "Ooh, foreign."
Yeah, she is.
And
what do you like?
He kind of just licks his lips and he's like, "I'm discovering all kinds of new things about myself every night."
That sounds interesting.
And as you continue to flirt and he continues to dance, the camera's going to peel away for a moment. And it finds itself to the door as it swings open into a kitchen. Max makes his way past a few of the cooks that are kind of frying some wings and the like, but not too much food is actually happening back here. Looking for the bartender. You continue to crawl your way in the back before you actually hear some voices. Going to the prep area, as you turn a corner, there you can see the bartender speaking with the other two triplets. You catch a mid-conversation, and it's one of the triplets saying to her, "And you sure he drank it?" She's like, he had an empty glass. I don't know what he did with it unless maybe he dumped it, but he's back and he wants more." The two triplets look to each other and one just nods wordlessly, and they look to her and is like, "That's fine. Give him what he wants. We'll be out there in a minute." She just says, she just agrees with them, and she turns to leave, moving around you reactively, Max. I assume you linger with them, or do you? So sticking around for the conversation. The two triplets then face to each other and says, "All right, well, one of two things. He didn't actually drink it, or he's one of us." And the other one chews on his lip. He's like, didn't Corey said he had like a mark I don't know, the something about like the government symbol or something. The other one shrugs like, "I don't fucking remember most of that night. I'll be real with you. The events after tuckered me the hell out." And the other guy nods. "Yeah, all right. Well, we need to figure this out now. Either way, so." And they both nod, and they're both about to leave. This is not a closed off area, by the way. It's just the prep attached to the small little fry area, so that you can still hear the sizzling and some of the cooks talking back and forth behind you. Do you let them leave?
I'm gonna stick with them. I'm gonna tail them.
You gonna tail them? Sure. They make their way out of the kitchen, and as the camera follows the twins, or rather the triplets, out of the doors into the dance floor, it once again peels away, flying its way back over to Vera. But before we go there, Sean, what would Sean be doing at this? Would you literally be waiting around?
Yeah, Sean he's probably like shifting in his seat a little bit, like, should I go behind there? Should I find out what's going on? He's like, no, I'll play it cool. Just sit here and wait for a drink.
Sounds good. Vera, how long do you want to, like, I imagine you want to kind of...
I imagine at some point I'm like, I like you. Let's go somewhere quiet.
And again, give me another manipulation persuasion check, please, to convince him to go off with you. You get all your bonuses.
So 5. It is not a crit.
And again, with quite an eagerness to him, he's like, "I know a great place. I got a good spot." And he looks to lead if you follow.
Vera makes a gesture, like, you know.
He actually offers you his arm.
She'll take it. She hates it, but she'll do it.
You can actually, as he scoops it up, you can actually feel his tight, his grip on you just tighten a little bit, not in like an aggressive manner, but in almost like a nervous manner. You almost can feel like a quivering in his palm. And as he leads you through the crowd and they all move out of the way for you, him clearly getting a lot of dirty looks, you make your way to the stairs and you're led to the second floor, one of the VIP rooms that were up here. You're brought to as the door opens and you're led into a private area, and he leads you in and he says, "Before I join you, any preference in wine?" You just catch me as a wine girl. Sorry if I'm wrong.
Actually, I'll take vodka.
Oh, all right. Oh, so it's not just a stereotype. Got it. And he goes to shut the door.
This room, does it have windows?
No. I mean, there's like a rectangular window that you can view out into the dance floor.
So it's like an internal window.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
No outside windows. And he leaves for a little while. The camera will follow him back out down the stairwell and rejoin Max as he follows these two triplets out, and they make their way to the crowd. At this point, you can see they're clearly making their way to the bar. The bartender's already returned and is making the drink for you, Sean. And it's just as she slides it onto the table that on either side of you, you get flanked by two very, very, very familiar faces. You're not sure if this is one of the ones that you've talked to before or not.
Sean just picks the drink up, takes a sip, puts it back down, and is like, "How you doing, fellas?"
Well, as you kind of take a sip to put it down, they put a hand on your shoulder and be like, "Much better now that we know what the hell's going on."
Oh, and enlighten me. What do you think's going on?
We should go talk somewhere else, brother.
Can I take my drink?
Sure. Why not?
Yeah, let's go.
And they begin to walk you as well. Max in tow.
I'll be following them, yeah.
Duke, you see Vera leaving the dance floor, and now you see Sean flanked by two identical looking people, ushering him off with the drink in hand.
I have a feeling that Max is probably close since it sent him in that direction. And if Max isn't close, Duke would probably consider this as a potential learning moment for Sean. However, he's going to start making his way to the stairs. He knows that Vera can handle herself, but when it comes to immediate instruction, Duke is definitely going to excel in drawing words from someone.
So you make your way up shortly after Vera makes her way up, so as not to stick out completely. It doesn't go past Duke that he is kind of a sore thumb in this club.
Correct. As
he makes his way up in the second floor, you watch as they enter a VIP room. You see him leaning against the door and asking about the wine. You're not that far away. And then you see the door shut and he walks off with a big, big smile on his face.
Do I see where he moves to? Does he go to the bar?
No, he's you actually follow him. If you watch him, he just goes to the back of the second floor where there's a alcohol rack of different wines and he or different alcohols, and he pulls really nice vodka.
I'm gonna go into the room.
As he walks away and you press into the door is locked. It's locked from the inside. So as you lean, the door jiggles. And Vera, you can hear the door jiggle very briefly, very quickly.
I don't know what to do. I go over to the door and like open it and I'm like leaning and I'm like, Duke, what are you doing here?
Well, you're not nearly as excited to see me as I thought you might be.
Well, you're not as nearly excited as the man I thought was on the other side of this door.
Don't worry. I just wish to be a fly on the wall.
Vera smiles a little bit. All right. Maybe I'll teach you something.
And I'll retreat to the corner, to the darkest corner. Since it's VIP, it's already going to be very dark.
Oh yeah, it's already very dim in here. So you just go to a dark corner where the only reason you even stick out is obviously as you do is because your shirt is so starch white and clean.
Yes.
That it just emanates enough light to kind of pick you out in the dark.
Sure.
But it would take a moment, and that's what we see before once again we follow the other triplets with Sean, making their way up the stairs, and past the second floor, up to the third floor, and leading you back into that room you were brought in before. The door's open, and he's like, "This is a special place, so enter and enjoy."
Oh, how special? Are you coming in with me?
Oh, and they nod. Is like, "Oh yeah, well, we only bring only those of the highest VIP access." And the other guy looks to his brother and he shrugs like, "It's a private room, man. I don't know what to tell you."
Oh, sweet. Yeah, okay. And he just kind of yawns,
goes and strides
takes
inside.
Another sip and is like, "You come here often?"
And as you walk in, the security, there's one security guard on the outside of the door like before. Max makes his way in as well very quickly before the door shuts. You don't have to make a roll for this time around as there's not Larson there. And as they make their way in, you're like, "You come here often?" One immediately plops onto a couch and the other one stands near next to the couch. Is like, "Yeah, we kind of have like a ritual we go through." And as he says that, the brother kind of goes, "Yeah."
I assume it's possible for Max to surreptitiously lock the door behind him.
Yes, you may do so. Can I get a dex stealth check? You quietly latch the door shut. Okay.
Three successes.
You just quietly lock the door. And that's their response.
Oh, well, that's creepy. Is Larson around?
No, not tonight. Sorry, bud.
Man.
But, I mean, we haven't gotten your name. What's your name?
Oh, I'm Sean. I know Larson. We're best friends. And,
one pats his chest, Jack. And then he points to the other guy rather, and he's like, "And that there's Dan."
Jack and Larson made you?
They take a moment and look to each other, and then they be like, red-handed.
Oh, man.
Did he make you?
We're in the same fucking boat.
Oh, well, I mean, he didn't tell us about you.
Didn't want to make you jealous.
Well, it explains why, again, you were here the other night, right? At least the bartender recognized you.
Yeah. I know him really well, so he was just like, let's try out the new drink. We'll catch each other later. You don't know where he's gone, do you?
Can I get a manipulation subterfuge roll, please?
With pleasure.
As you begin to start lying without realizing any details about this drink at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna rouse check to get an extra dice on
Please
that.
do. You're gonna need it. What's your willpower at now? Oh my god!
My willpower. Oh, have I got willpower back or
no?
No. Okay, then I'm partway through my willpower.
Okay. With a total of 7 successes and a critical, and a clean critical, not a hunger critical, which is fantastic. You kind of spouting this like you told me to try the drink, and one of the guys, one of the brothers, kind of leans back, the one who goes by Jack, and he's like, "Are you just why? It's not going to do anything to you."
Yeah, but I experiment with like how our stuff works, you know?
Oh.
And we're sharing secrets. So
Gotcha.
like, if this ritual of yours, I'd love to see it.
I mean, you've never seen it?
Well, he hasn't showed it to me. He's talked about it. Is he doing it? Like, where is he?
I mean, it's not. Sean, how long have you been us?
Just a couple of years. And Sean takes out another cigarette.
You light the cigarette, and as they watch you, and can I get another a manipulation subterfuge roll, please? As you try to talk about the ritual.
Yeah. Another
you don't gain hunger.
rouse check to make sure I get an extra dice. 4.
With 4, they're like, that's a couple years, and you have what? There must be a reason.
Oh, he planted me somewhere where I was safe and I could feed him stuff, you know?
I guess. I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. I mean, we don't know all that much. The other brother kind of chimes in, Dan, and he stands up from the couch. Yeah, listen, basically, we're just here to keep this place safe and make sure the weekly thing continues, and that's about it. I have no. We're not let in on the grander plans. And then Jack cuts in. He's like, yeah, not that we don't fucking want to. We're trying to prove ourselves to this guy, and he's still keeping us fucking locked up in this damn club every week. Sorry.
What?
And then Dan, the other one cuts in. No, sorry. He's a
pain in the ass, Larson, sometimes. But
no, he's a good man. He tries. I mean, look what he turned us into. I mean, that's kind
of better, right?
Incredible, isn't it? I didn't even think we existed. I didn't think for the longest time. I didn't think that we were a thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame you don't know more, because I could show you a thing or two. And then he takes out the cigarette and he just blows a vast quantity of smoke directly in their vicinity that envelops them.
What are we using?
I'm going to have to use. I'm using envelop.
I was gonna say
I get hungrier because I use my ability.
Envelop. This formula creates a mist that clings to a victim, blinding it in the case of mortals, causing suffocation. Blah, 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 blah. One rouse. Wits alchemy versus stamina survival. The alchemist activates the power and chooses a target within sight. A swirling mist envelops a target, obscuring their sight and penalizing them 3 dice from all sight-based detection and ranged attack dice pools. In addition, the alchemist can make the mist suffocate a mortal, which they're not. On a win, blah, blah, blah. Okay. They have to make a roll. Stamina, survivals. That is not a roll they have a lot in. And you're only doing it to one, right? Because it's a target. So you're picking one of them?
Oh, if it's only one,
it is one.
Yeah, I'll do it to one of them.
Okay. So you've got to make your Wits Alchemy roll.
Wits Alchemy?
So if he's doing that to Dan, Max is basically, getting ready to punch the crap out of Jack.
Sure. That's, I imagine you're right up next to him. You get a little hungrier?
I do. But I get 4 successes.
Oh,
No, 6 successes.
6 successes as you messy critical. He falls to the ground. That's all that happens immediately. As you do so, and Max, you watch as this huge waft of smoke seems to endlessly pour forth from his lips, continually exhaling an unnatural amount of smoke. It not only warps around Jack, but it begins to tighten around him, and it begins to take form around him. And as it swirls and still very clearly smoke, there's not even a moment where he coughs. He simply falls to the ground like a hard slab, wham to the back. Dan jumps up. He's like, whoa, 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 I thought you were one of us. We now go into essentially combat as you surprise round attack them. Max,
Yes.
What are you going to do?
So I thought it was Dan that he was going for.
Okay, sorry. Either way, we'll flip the names, swap.
Yeah, because this pithy quote won't make sense other this quip.
Sure, yeah, then it was Dan that went down. Jack is the one standing.
Yeah. And Max says, hit the road, Jack. And just smacks him.
Please do. Make your swing.
He gets 3 successes. I can re-roll with Will, though, right?
Yes. Yes, you can re-roll 3 with Will.
I'm going to do that, because I've got 3 successes, but let's get more successes.
Yep.
That is a crit as well.
Is it a crit? No, it's not a crit.
1 extra success.
Yeah, you need 2 10s to crit.
Oh, sorry.
One 10 doesn't crit. So you get 4 successes as you level your fist. Where are you hitting him? In the head? In the chest?
I'm trying to knock him out, basically.
Okay, so you're going in just for a hard punch with either the fist or the elbow, and you collide with this.
Did we establish whether my lethal body works on Thin Bloods?
Thin Bloods take damage like mortals, but mend like vampires.
So this is aggravated.
You're doing straight aggravated to this guy, yeah. So he's going to immediately take 4 aggravated damage, which you know how... As his jaw unhinges, as your fist collides with the side of his face, you can feel the jaw snap and the skin tear. You watch on as his entire right side of his jaw just disconnects and dangles openly in front of you, teeth scattered to the ground as a glop of blood hits the wall, but with a really loud thud. What are you doing in combat as well? Because he surprise round for Max as he was invisible. But now this guy's
I'm gonna probably make him all the way dead.
We can say then, we don't even have to because of the critical success on Envelop, knocking him out immediately. He's too shocked by what happened. As his eyes kind of come into focus to look back up. Yeah, as he's kind of like dazzled for a minute, as you kind of bring your fist back and some of the interior matter falls from your knuckles. You bring it back for a second punch just as his eyes are about to meet yours. But before he can even do so, you hit him in the temple and his eyes scatter to the ground as the whole front of his face basically sloshes off. And he collapses to the ground before he begins to dust in front of you.
That's 1. 2 to go.
1 is on the ground, completely incapacitated in front of you.
What the fuck, Max? Oh, gross.
Yeah, sorry about that. I got some bounty here, so the quicker picker upper.
As the blood in the body bits now are turning to ash.
Pick this guy up off the floor, put him in the car.
You got it.
You can start scooping him up.
Yeah, it's like, you're going to have to get him out of here. But I'll be right beside you. Just pretend he's drunk or something, you know?
Covered in a very supernatural smoke.
I put the stub of the cigarette in my mouth and like, this will be believable, right? And then I like put one arm around the back of my neck and then...
This cocooned in cigarette smoke individual over your shoulders.
I like try and think about it and see if it dissipates.
It will when the scene ends. So if you really want it to end, basically as the scene is about to move on, then the smoke dissipates. But as it dissipates, so does his skin, quickly turning to dust before you, crumbling underneath. And as the smoke wafts away, so do the last bits of his body, my messy critical boy.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, that's 2 down then. Don't worry. Don't worry, Vera's usually a lot more gentle than me.
Hard cut to the room. Duke is in a corner, and the door opens. Vera, on the wall. I've got the best vodka of them all. And he turns in and he shuts the door.
Takes it from him.
I got to make a roll to see if he sees Duke immediately.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Duke behind the curtains in the corner, just his feet.
And as he slams the door shut and he hands it over, his gaze quickly goes from you to, who's that?
Who?
And he gestures to Duke.
Vera doesn't break eye contact. She doesn't look at Duke. She kind of pushes him down into like a chair or something. She tries to grab his attention again.
And you do so as because awe is still on and he still failed. And as he looks back to you, he tries to.
She drinks straight from the bottle.
And
right?
as you pop the top and you start taking in vodka.
And I set it down. And she walks over and she pulls like a handkerchief from her cleavage, like snaps it in the air. Bind your mouth. She hands it to him. Please.
What's happening? What did I do?
Well, we came to a more private place, am I correct?
Yeah, I thought you wanted to have a...
Now, please.
Give me a manipulation intimidation.
Oh, I am not intimidating. But that's okay.
That's okay. Yeah, that's not your forte.
That's not my forte. But I can.
You have Duke standing in the corner, so take a +1.
I got 3.
You can take a +1.
Oh, okay. I'll roll an extra D10.
Extra roll a D10 for him. 4.
That would make 4.
And so he kind of, with hesitation, and his eyes do break occasionally to catch Duke to see if he's still coldly staring at him, which he is. He does reach forward eventually for the handkerchief, and he opens his mouth.
Yeah.
Ties it, and just pulls it again.
She like pulls her dress up, and you can see she's got knives on either side of like her legs that have been here like the whole time. She pulls a set of handcuffs as well. Your hands. To the chair.
He doesn't even resist.
I have to do it myself. She like wanders over and she leans in, gets way too close. She breathes on him while she like handcuffs him to the chair. She says, "You're a very lucky boy."
He swallows hard.
I was going to ask you and your brothers to come party with us tonight, but, my friend here in the corner, he's waited a very long time to see something. You are my demonstration. Don't you feel lucky?
He blankly stares at you with nothing but fear.
Wonderful. And Vera like slides the 2 knives all out.
His eyes widen even further.
They kind of like notch onto the bottom of the shoes she's wearing. She goes up on point, knife point. And she says, "This is what you wanted to see, right, Duke?"
Duke doesn't say anything.
She says, "Unfortunately, I'm without my usual tune, so I guess we're going to have to dance to EDM tonight." It's a lot easier if you sit still. And she kind of comes over and she straddles him. She grabs him by the jaw and she says, "Unfortunately, only Duke gets to see this. You don't." And she'll pluck one eye and she plucks the other eye.
Screams immediately pour forth, blood curdling as loud as could be. There are definitely those that are going to be able to hear it on the second floor.
Vera says, "Well, let us
take
begin."
one or both?
Oh, no, he has to have both. He can't see.
Okay, just making sure. And you watch as they're eating. Is it quick? Is it kind of like a quick thing at this
point?
Oh,
yeah, I imagine she puts the nails right in and just yanks it free of his skull.
You do so. His screams eventually meld to silence out of pure shock.
And we begin. And she begins to kind of count 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And she will do her usual dance. A dance she's not done in years.
The spin and the slice and the slice.
Over and over until he's dead.
Duke. Okay. I just want to make sure Duke doesn't interfere, and we watch. It doesn't take terribly long. 5 to 10 minutes, I imagine, as you are you're in the middle of a club. And you watch as the cuts continue from the bottom to the top, deeper and deeper. in a very organized manner. And it's beautiful to behold. This is art that only a rare few ever get to experience in such a way, I imagine. Eventually, his movements do stop. His screams stop, and you watch as skin begins to flake, and the blood and vitae that poured forth begins to ash before your very eyes.
She finishes in like a plie, a proper ballet plie, and she kind of looks over her shoulder. She says, it's probably a good thing he died tonight. I was going to take all three of them back and make them choose which one died first.
The camera cuts once more. Back to Max and Sean as they make their way out of the room, I imagine now. Max and Sean both catch as on the second floor as they make, on the third floor as they make their way out. They're taking a look over the railing and looking around. You can actually see what seems to be a group of people, all being ushered by a couple of security guards through the dance floor toward the room where you once saw Stinky go. They each seem to have a drink in hand, and they all seem to be lightly conversing with one another from up here. And you lose sight as they go underneath and through the double doors where you saw Stinky go that one time. Do Max and Sean want to follow?
We gotta go, right?
Yeah, gotta get to the bottom of this. And that would be good to have Duke and Vera with us too, but you're gonna be a lot more conspicuous than me. Maybe let me check it out first, huh?
I can still hide myself a little bit.
Yeah, but correct me if I'm wrong, but you kind of gotta, stand perfectly still while you do it.
I only need it to work when people are looking at me.
Yeah, all right. Just follow my lead, huh?
Yes, sir.
And the camera will quickly follow them down through those double doors into the room, and you can catch through one of the other doors. Remember, there were two other doors in this room. The one dead ahead that leads into another hallway. You can see the group of people being led side by side, walking straight down. Peering through the door, there's no security guards down here. There's nobody, or rather through here. There's no security guard standing in the room or in the hallway. Just the group of people being led with one bodyguard in front and one in back. And as you continue, it goes quite a ways until eventually it comes to another stairwell that leads down. At this point, sounds like you can hear voices coming from down those stairs as they're being led, you in tow. And as you make your way down, the stairs go from metallic and great-like to stone and hard. They go down about what you would consider 2 stories. And as you go deeper, those voices get louder, and they seem to be praying. It seems to be a chant of some sort. You're led eventually you watch as these people are led into a room with a door that has a large lock on the outside. One of the guards doing a couple of knocks before such security devices are removed and the door is swung open. As you gaze in and the people are led inside, what you see before you is confusing, but not altogether surprising, perhaps, for Sean and Max after learning what they've learned. There are a number of individuals, all attired in some dark robes and clothes with hoods drawn. And in the center of this room that is otherwise completely empty lie metal chains in the center of what seems to be a giant sigil of some sort, painted in red paint or perhaps blood or perhaps a mix, candles on the outside. And these people on the outside are chanting and praying, continually intensifying, and as the door opens and this crowd of people is brought in, it gets louder and louder. There's an energy that you would catch at you can see in those some other religious gatherings as a better kind of a real life comparison. They seem to be going into hysterics as these people are coming into the room, hands in the air, spewing words that make no sense to you. They're brought to the center, and then they're left. The bodyguards separate, but the prayers and intents continue. The candle's flames begin to go from a wild flicker to a straight flame, not wavering no matter how much wind or the like stands. Each candle one by one then goes out as the chanting continues. And then all at once, a group of people let out a short, curt scream. You can hear all of their bodies hit the ground. And in its place, barely illuminating what is before you, is a creature you're unfamiliar with. It has an aura of dark, red flame flickering around. Can I get an intelligence occult from the two of you?
1 success.
No successes.
The only thing I can give Max, as he's been around for a while, and particularly because of his origin and where he comes from, the only thing that you can think of in this brief moment where this creature seems to appear, you look as its limbs are extremely long, its fingers multiple jointed, 6 fingers on each hand, skin hanging from muscle and bone, as its teeth also in its jaw are bared with no lips. And a pure hatred can be felt emanating from it. The only thing that comes to your mind is the once rumors that there are kindred out there who practice something known as infernalism. But you're not sure if that's what this is, because you've certainly never seen anything like it. And as this creature lingers in the air, you can actually see the chains on the floor now are no longer limply on the ground, but tightened around the limbs of this creature as it hovers. It cannot move, and it is staring angrily forward. One of the silhouetted robed people step forward and pull the hood back. An unfamiliar face, bald and hairless completely, takes a knee. It looks up and simply says, "We await further orders." And that's where we'll cut this episode. And we'll pick up next week.
Hey, it's Sean. Now, I'm sure you've heard Vera say no phones, but if we're going to break 1 billion followers, then I'm going to need you to do me a little favour. If you could hop onto Twitter and follow us at Pod by Night, that would be mint, and a 5-star review on iTunes ain't going to hurt either. And maybe I'll share some of them spicy DMs with you. Cheers, mate.